Agreed. Greetings and salutations. The universe is just doomed. 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 Doomed.
Hello.
Hi, and where is the body?
We're gonna find out.
We are.
When we talk about two Wong Foo, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
Yes, first episode of the new year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year again.
We're starting it out with one that hi, this is Nicole.
Yep.
That I haven't seen.
And we did confirm.
Yes.
You have never seen
I've seen
this
just
movie.
little clips that people post online, but I've never
of course
seen.
you've seen clips. So when we went to DragCon and actually saw Julie Newmar standing there, and I said, "Oh my God, she is statuesque," and you're like,
I had
no idea.
No, I just thought you just were saying
she
Julie
is.
Newmar. And I mean, I know who Julie Newmar is, but I was like, oh yeah,
I can actually say
is.
that because there's Julie Newmar and she's statuesque.
No, I told you that I had to admit to you.
Yeah, I know. She came out to me.
I coyly came forward and said, "Look, every time you and Liana make a joke about Tu Wong Fu, have you ever noticed that I go silent?" And she's all, "What?"
Because it reminded me of that time that we were hanging out at Corey's and we were talking about Jem, I think, and Shira. And then, by the time we got to Jem, she was like, "Okay, I wasn't going to say anything, but you mentioned two things in a row that I could no longer get away with admitting that I didn't know what you were talking about."
I forgot about that.
That's what that reminded me of.
Wow.
That's what that reminded me of.
But before we get into this, we have a couple of two new patrons to thank.
Yay!
What a way to start the new year.
Excellent.
So I want to thank Andrew Garrettson and Rick Wright for joining our Patreon.
Welcome, Andrew and Rick.
And if you would like to support us as well, patreon.com/Doom Generation.
Yes.
And let's get into this cast.
Let's do it because it's a big cast. There's a lot of names to mention here. So let's start out with Patrick Swayze
as Vida
Miss
Boheme.
Vida of the Manhattan Bohemes. Wesley Snipes, who is just having the best fucking time as Noxeema Jackson.
He seems to be living. I told you,
Jesse's
I think he's
daughter.
got Noxeema in him a little bit still to this day.
Okay. So we're gonna throughout this, we're gonna be discussing Ms. Wesley quite a bit. I have a lot to say. John Leguizamo, who again, give him his flowers.
Chichi Rodriguez.
Yes. Miss Stalker Channing is Carol Ann.
And who I just love her because Grease and whatever.
Yes.
She was my favorite character.
Yes. Oh, Rizzo is the balls.
And I forgot. So I wrote down the name and I thought, this sounds really familiar and I can't figure out why. And then I saw her on screen and I was like, oh, bitch, it's Gwyneth Paltrow's mom.
Blythe Danner as Beatrice. And Melinda Dillon, who I just now make the connection today, is the mom from
A Christmas Story.
I was
yes.
like, oh shit, and she is Myrna.
I have in my notes, and then the mom from the Christmas Story.
Yes, I was like, oh fuck, holy shit, because I did that twice.
Because she doesn't have a huge. Well, you see her multiple times.
You do, but she's part of this ensemble. It's like a big group of people. We have Marceline. Who?
I didn't write down whatever that is.
Katina, Beth Grant as Loretta, who went on to appear in Donnie Darko with Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
Jennifer Milmore as Bobby Lee. Chris Penn.
Sheriff
Trixie
Dullard.
referred to as the guy that plays the sheriff. I was like,
Chris Penn. Who Chris Penn is.
That was weird. Arliss Howard, who I just now remembered was in
the one who helped Mickey and Mallory
Natural
Knox
Born
get
Killers.
away.
I was like, oh shit.
Yep.
Virgil sucks.
Right?
It stands to reason. Jason London, the good twin.
Did you verify he's the good twin?
I don't know if I verified,
we never
but
remember.
I feel like I can never remember, but I feel like Jeremy's the bad twin. I feel like they're both maybe a little.
I think they both had some problems.
But one's a little more troubled than the other. Allegedly. I don't know. This could be slander. This could be slander.
He's Bobby Ray.
Yes, Bobby Ray. We have Mike Hodge as Jimmy Joe and Michael Vartan as Tommy.
RuPaul as Rachel Tensions.
Yes, bitch. Miss Julie Newmar as herself.
Mm-hmm.
Naomi Campbell, Joey Arias, Lady Kateria, Misunderstood, Candace Kane, Miss Coco Peru.
So many.
Hedda Lettuce, Lady Bunny, Quentin Crisp, and Robin Williams as Mr. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
I was not expecting that. I heard you talk about John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, but he's not credited on IMDb,
he's not.
And so
you don't need to.
Well, because you
it's
know
just
who he
like
is.
that little brief part that's so
very good.
That's so good.
So we open on.
It is
singing a man's world in the shower.
This is a man's world, and we see a little. Little nudie bits of Patrick.
Yes, we almost got a little show of Mr. Swayze.
Yes. He moves that lithe body on over to this vanity.
Oh, yes, and picks up that pink lady Bic.
Oh, man. And
touches up the shave.
Because when she sits down, she's like, that's a man, baby. That's Patrick Swayze.
Oh, yes.
That's the thing. And then once that headband.
The headband goes on, and immediately those eyebrows go up.
Ready or not.
Here comes Mama.
And then we have a little Cheryl Salt Williams over there.
And his Casio tape player.
Where is the body? And I can't hear this song without... This is one of the makeup songs. It's like this and Goodbye Horses that I like to put my makeup on too.
Body Beautiful.
Yes, bitch. It was a Salt and Pepper Christmas.
I saw that, yeah. I was like, oh shit, this is Salt and Pepper. So the close-ups of their beautiful eyes, putting on their lashes, putting on their chicken cutlets and padded undergarments.
Right? And Wesley's over here, ate this shit
up
with the little...
and he had little kicks in the air, putting the nylons on.
Everyone, they're all getting ready for a thing in these like gigantic, elaborate, gorgeous apartments.
Yes,
with wallpapers and fabrics and chandeliers.
Well, as we find out later, they have decorator magic. So,
well, that's true. Maybe that's what it was.
That's all it is.
Maybe that's what it was.
Drag queens got decorator
it just takes
magic.
The ferry, we find
out.
Yep,
that's it. That's what it is.
So they go down to Webster. Is that Webster Hall? Is that what I put?
Webster Hall.
Yeah, they're all sharing a mirror because this is the drag queen pageant. Miss, I don't know.
I think I have a note coming up. Or no, maybe. I just wrote drag queen pageant. I don't know if that was the name of it. And we see Chi-Chi out on the street carrying her wig on her wig head, getting shit thrown at her.
Don't throw your mother at me.
And so they all get to Webster Hall. They're in this big shared dressing room getting ready. Chi-Chi's running late.
Of course.
And the finalists in this pageant, Vida, Noxeema, Senorita Chi-Chi, and a bunch of other girls.
Yes, everyone's doing their turn on the runway, doing the walk on the runway. And Patrick Swayze moving this body like a dancer down.
Yeah.
When he was putting on the nylons, the stockings, with that pointed toe, with that arch.
Hell yeah,
bitch!
I'm telling you, I said, I had only seen clips of this, and so I knew what to expect to a certain degree,
right?
But never at any point was I taken out of this fantasy.
No, not a once, because none of
by
them
it being Patrick Swayze, John Leguizamo, and Wesley Snipes.
Never.
Like there was nothing about it where I went, oh, they're mocking or they're being
they
trivializing.
were like fully formed drag queens.
Oh yeah.
Or at least they acted like fully formed drag queens.
And they all had a very different style.
Very
which
much
if you
so.
watch drag, you have the mother one who's in the gowns and doing, regal and classy.
Yes.
You've got the like bougie Chi-Chi, like with the little short skirts and the high,
Right.
We've got all the different things
and
covered.
Then there's the slut.
Then they all aren't. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's funny.
I think only Chi-Chi was a slut.
Yeah, no, I think so.
So they Miss Racial Tensions.
Yes, descends from the ceiling.
Last year's winner.
And hello, pit crew, anyone?
Right? Is that where it came from?
I don't know, but this is pre-Drag Race. I know there was pageants before Drag Race. I know there was pageants before this movie. I know there was.
Of course.
But I'm saying this little dude with if there's a snowstorm tonight,
I'm putting him on my tires.
Yes. But yeah, that was what I immediately
totally
hello. Yeah. Oh, pit crew.
And the winner, they win a ticket to Hollywood to compete in Drag Queen of America.
All expensive. All expenses paid.
Girl, it's so expensive. It's all the
all
doll hairs.
expensive. All of it is expensive.
And they announced the winner, and the winner is
It's a tie. And it's both Miss Vida Boheme and Noxeema Jackson.
So they get their tiaras and wands, and Chi-Chi looks very hurt.
Oh, go out
She
and
trips running
scandalize
off.
this nation. Well, she's very dramatic.
Why did she run across the front?
Because
She wanted to
see.
Look at how upset I am.
So you see. So yeah, they are like they're after the show, they are now dressed in their going out drag.
Well, and see, this is, I mean, I'm not confused by it. Everybody does their own thing. But to find 3 drag queens that are of all different ages, persuasions, whatever, who not only show up to performances in drag,
Right.
but wear day drag. These aren't trans
They traveled
folks.
across this
That's what
nation
I'm saying.
in full drag all the
Knowing
time. Like,
it was going to be harder for them.
I get like why like you would want to do it.
It's
if
more
that's the kind of
entertaining
way
because
that
it would have
you
been
wanna live your life.
nothing
Yeah,
would have
like, it
happened
was far
if they
more
were dressed as
entertaining.
big buff men.
But I get why they showed up as themselves in that small town and had to keep up that appearance. Like I
Right.
get that shit.
But yeah, that all makes sense. But
Right.
why they like if you just did a big pageant, you just put on a whole look, you put on a gown,
Well,
and
because
lashes
they
and
had
hair.
to go be seen at the China
And-
Bowl.
oh, that's true because
they had to go be seen.
after party.
And you're not
What
going
am
to
I
go out all
thinking?
busted in your Crocs and your sweatpants.
True.
You know?
I get you. So yeah, so then they go to is it a club, a restaurant?
It is the China Bowl, a restaurant club type. Well, they
Before they get there though.
well before they get there, like Noxeema is like, I hope we're not mistaken for the Gabors. Like we only have to be seen at the China Bowl. Will inspire jealousy and rage, and they see
little Chi-Chi
oh
crying on the stairs.
Noxeema, ask that little Latin boy in drag why are they crying?
Little Latin boy in drag. Why are
Why
you crying?
Are you
He's
crying? Well, it's just that you're so pretty. Like, yeah, I know. Of course we're
of course.
pretty. But
So maybe she just found out Menudo broke up. Oh.
come on.
And so Vida asks her name. They get introduced. And she's like, what's going on? And she just, I wanted to win so much. And I'm a big
Right.
loser. And I never
Yeah.
do anything right. Blah, 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 blah.
And she starts crying like, no, you're a winner. And like, you look like, you know, you look like.
And she's looking over at Noxeema for help. And
She's like,
Noxeema
no,
does
don't
not
give
care.
me that bleeding heart Sally Struthers shit.
And so Vida takes Noxeema aside to talk. And
Right,
she's like, I ain't driving you no more, Miss Daisy.
Right. Like, she's like, we're going to take her with us. Like, not on your young queer life.
No. She's
We
like,
are not.
You
like,
don't want to get mixed up with that Latin mess? She might
could
be
be
a
a
Sandinista.
She was like, you know what? I'm surprised at you.
Shocked and saddened at your behavior.
Because, you know, with a little encouragement and the occasional makeup tip, can help you look a little less like Mom's Mabley.
A certain young ebony enchantress in the
Enchantress.
rough.
Would have been sharing a title with moi.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's her mother.
I guess, yeah,
Vida's
that's her
her
drag
mother?
mother. That was the impression I got. So they pick Chi-Chi up and take her out arm in arm into the streets of New York.
We're going out. We're going to the China Bowl. You simply must be seen there. Like, come with us. We're taking you with us.
Naomi Campbell's there.
I want to be as beautiful as you.
She
honey.
tells Noxeema.
Good luck.
And here we have Robin Williams, who comes out to greet them
Oh, enchanté.
and introduces himself
Oh, you
as
spoke French. How bye.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Yes, you remember Mr. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt? Oh, yes. His name is my name, too. Do people always shout? I hate that.
So he congratulates them on their win, and she
Right.
wants to talk to him about we got to exchange these plane tickets.
Un petit Christ. Oh, Christ, jamais. So Vida wants to get rid of these plane tickets, have to dump, and turn it in for 3 round trip tickets to Los Angeles because they're going to take little Miss Chi-Chi with them.
And so originally they want train tickets, but he's like, okay, it's going to be $500 on top
Does
of
it have
these.
a club car?
Yes, that's all they want to know.
Tell me, does it have a club car?
But they can't afford it.
No, that's way out of our budget.
And they're not taking the bus.
Oh, I do not do the bus.
But Crazy Elijah
He gives her the card.
will give her anything they want off the lot, used car
50
lot,
bucks.
for which I would have bought 4 cars.
Right?
Or
We
3
could each
cars.
take
Everybody
our
drive
own.
their own. We'll see which one makes it to the fucking.
We'll each
to
take our
LA.
own. Like we'll have a backup.
Right?
Or some, well, no, because we discuss why we can't have anything more than what we get once we get there.
Right.
So yeah, go down to Crazy Elijah. My cars are my children.
And and before that, when they're still at the restaurant, she sees Julie Newmar, the autograph picture.
Anything frivolous for the next few moments. I'm having a significant moment. Miss Julie Newmar has been silently watching over this conversation. And she talks about how she's vintage Miss Julie. She's like so statuesque. And that she was the only Catwoman. I'm sorry.
I mean,
There's a hierarchy.
few.
And for me, it's Eartha Kitt,
Yeah.
Julie Newmar. Or no, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah. Same.
Julie Newmar.
Agreed.
Lee Merriweather. Halle Berry.
I never
Hathaway, who
even
gives a
saw the
shit?
Halle Berry Catwoman.
No, I didn't.
I didn't.
No, I didn't. The clips were enough. I didn't really see. I never saw the Anne Hathaway one either. Because the clips
I
were
never
enough.
saw
The
that
clips
either.
Were
Never saw that either.
enough. But she's third. She's third Catwoman.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
And so she takes this painting or this painting.
This
signed,
picture off the wall.
that's signed to Wong Foo, Things for
And
Everything.
did you see
Julie
all the
Newmar.
lipstick on Chi-Chi's teeth? At
I
this
did
moment?
not notice.
There was so much lipstick on Chi-Chi's teeth at this one. Who's Wong Foo?
Oh.
With all this stuff. I guess at one point, Julie Newmar had gone to a con somewhere, not Drag Con, but a different one earlier on. And it was because of this. And because she had gone to conventions before, she got like drunk, I guess, as the story goes, at this particular one. And they like showed her the picture. She saw it or whatever and was like, who's Wong Foo and why would I be thanking them? But that's just the story.
She
I
doesn't
saw.
even know why people are there.
Supposedly,
She's
it's somebody named Wong Foo Fooey that owned the China Bowl.
like, okay, that makes sense. The
And they
original
had
owner or something.
Pictures of all the celebrities that came through. So
That
that
makes
was the
sense.
story behind that.
Because they never do say in this, right?
No, it's just
they
that
never figure it out.
Wong Foo's the owner. Like, they don't even know. Because you would think if they knew, like, oh, it's Wong Foo is the owner of this establishment.
Right.
So I don't know.
So they go down to Elijah's lot and find a land yacht.
Yes.
And she feels like Jayne Mansfield in that car.
Oh, that is a bad auto
It's a
reference.
convertible Cadillac.
And, oh, man, I hope they don't get stuck behind a mosquito truck.
oh, God.
Oh God!
Oh,
Remember we
God.
saw that shit at they have that stuffed Chihuahua at the Museum of Death. That was one of Jayne Mansfield's Chihuahuas that died in the
I forgot about that.
that particular accident for which they made a law. They made a law
Right.
about that because she was not decapitated. It was just her wig
Oh,
that flew off, and that was where that rumor originated. She was not decapitated, but she was.
wigless.
So, yes. I mean, her children were in the car. Like, it was a bad fucking scene. Bad
Yikes.
fucking scene.
And the guy tries to tell him, like, it's not going to make it to California. That's not a good car. It's not a good car.
Please take the Corolla.
Anything, yes. But they caught sight of themselves in that lot mirror, and it is too late.
It's the question, the age-old question, pumpkins. Style over substance. Oof, but it's the look. You have to take it.
So they put the Julie Newmar photo up on the dash,
Mm-hmm.
and Chi-Chi's reading the map. Remember these days? Reading a map
Yes, like
to go
it-
cross
somebody-
country? Like, oh my God.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my God. I can't stop saying that.
Right. They have just left Philadelphia and they're on their way to the next town, which is Ballackinwood, which just happens to be.
Vita's hometown.
Oh, I want to see where she was birthed.
There got to be a historical marker or something, around.
So they go.
She gives them a little tour and drives them past her parents' house. Who her parents are? Or why don't you tell us you're
and
rich?
the other thing that now that I just wrote this down and thought about it, I think another extra piece that I don't remember from the original one is when they're driving past that park. And she talks about how this is where they asked Miss Vida to stop imitating Esther Williams, not Ethel Merman Kim.
Oh.
In that, I feel like that, I don't remember that at all either.
Oh,
like her
okay.
telling that little bit of a story. Because there's a couple of things in watching this time that we'll discuss later, because there's another part that I do not have any recollection of from the hundreds of times I've seen this movie before. And Nicole's only just seen it.
So I have
So
no
she has
point
no
of
point of
reference.
reference. But this part, I don't remember her saying that when they get to town, just pulling into this neighborhood about like, oh my
She
God,
gives
you never
them the
told me you
little-
were rich.
Yeah.
And, you know, I gave all this up to be Vida.
So,
You know.
so yeah, they go by the parents' house and the door opens and this old woman walks out and Vida gets like excited
She
for a
sees
second
her.
and waves.
She is hanging out in her hosiery
If-
in a suit,
yeah.
a skirted suit, just at her house.
Yeah.
That's what
That's
rich
your
people
at-home
do.
clothes?
Those are her chill out clothes and her little biscuit basket.
And walk out to get the mail in that.
Is that what she was doing? The mail or the
I
paper?
thought so. Or yeah, the
something?
paper maybe.
They'd have to carry it or like wing that shit far if it was like a paper boy.
And when the old woman realizes who's waving at her, she just
Like,
runs back inside
shit,
the house.
She goes back in the house. So now Miss Vida tears up the map.
Yeah, she has a
maps
little
are cheating.
tantrum.
She fucking flips a bitch and
Now how are we going to know where we're going?
oh no, well it just instincts.
Exquisite wit.
Yes.
And so this is where Noxeema tells Chi-Chi she's not a real drag queen. She's just a
Right.
boy in a dress.
Right. They educate her on what it means to be a drag queen. She's like, what are you talking about? I am a drag queen. Like, no, you're a boy in a dress.
And so they tell her about all the differences between a transvestite, transsexual,
When
drag
a man
queen.
is a woman trapped in a man's body and has a little operation, that's transsexual. I mean, like all of these are
yeah,
outdated.
they give they're outdated, but they give all their little
But when a gay
definitions.
man has way too much fashion sense for only one gender, he is a drag queen.
Yes. And she now wants out of the car because Vida
Right.
agrees you're not a real drag queen.
Right, because when a little Latin boy puts on a dress, he is. Oh, a word? Well, then let me out.
And so she jumps out of the car and Vida follows her and is like, you're squandering your potential. And when we're
Right.
done with you, your aunties will give you what you need to be a full-fledged queen.
Right. Well, maybe I don't need to be a boy in a dress. Like, okay, well, you could be a drag princess. So she wants to be a P to the R to the I to the sis.
Yes. She's excited about being a drag princess.
Right. She gets back into the Cadillac and off they go. It's a travel montage.
Noxeema gives her the 4 made-up steps to becoming a drag queen. But then she's like, you'll know what they are when you've done
when
them.
we get yeah,
Because
once
she
you-
doesn't know what they are.
Once you've done them, you'll know what they are. So now this is another part that I have no recollection.
Them getting
of.
lost?
Nope. Or no. Yeah.
So they
it's
get
like
lost. They don't want to ask
they're
for
driving through
directions.
Middle America. Yeah.
They stop at a motel.
But yeah, this part, no recollection of this. They pull into a budget host.
And Noxeema and Vida are like, we can't go in there. Like, we should just sleep in the car or whatever.
like,
And
there's
Chi-Chi's
she's
like, nah.
no, like, I'm going to get out. We're going in here.
And she's like, yeah, I don't care. And she heads in full force. And they go chasing after her thinking she's about
Right.
to get killed.
Because they're whistling at her and shit. Like, there's people
Yeah.
outside, you know, whatever. So, like, we got to go get her. And she storms into this lobby.
And the hotel manager or whoever, the concierge comes in
Yeah.
like, oh, I should have met you outside. Welcome. There's
Like,
wine and cheese in the ladies' parlor. Your friends are
welcome.
inside. And they're
It's
like, what?
My friends. So they like, oh, never, no one's too rich to throw away a friend. Chi-Chi goes right in there.
And it's the ladies' basketball league. What luck.
Right? So they're all in there. It's a bunch of tall women.
Uh-huh.
And then the next day they have a basketball game and Wesley's out there dunking on
And he's the
gals.
only one. I didn't see the
yes.
other two playing or
No,
where they even
didn't
were.
play-
It was
no,
only
they weren't.
it was
Well,
only
'cause they
Noxeema.
didn't want to. They didn't want to participate because
Vida doesn't seem like a basketball player
No,
to me.
she
I can see
don't.
Chi-Chi getting out there maybe.
maybe a little as a cheerleader.
And they
Chi-Chi don't wanna
luxuriate by this pool, which is like it was so
Yes.
campy and
Yes,
funky
that
for like
part
a
either,
middle
the part by
America.
the pool.
Yeah.
Nope. That
None of that?
astroturfed pool with the bathing.
Yeah.
ensemble.
You'd
Nope.
never seen that?
Nope.
Interesting.
That was not familiar to me. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I probably have holes in my brain. That's a very likely possibility, but I swear I have never, like, it did
Well,
not
then,
ring.
so when did they talk about that? She did step 2, ignoring adversity, because that's where she tells her that was
don't.
it. You did step 2.
They don't.
Oh,
They don't.
maybe they cut
Because
out the
the next-
steps
Or cut up the steps.
or something.
No, because, well,
Does she even talk about there being 4 steps to being a drag queen in the one you saw?
no. Maybe
So
not.
maybe this is a whole thing where they took out all of the parts where they talk about the steps.
Maybe, because I felt like that part where she jumps out of the car, I feel like that was familiar. But
It just like they went back on the road and then it was the next part.
right, and then it was like the next part. So I don't know. There was some cuts in there. I really feel like there was some cuts in there, and please let me know if I'm wrong. But
It's possible.
I've seen this movie a lot, a lot, and none of that rings any bells. So I don't know.
So they get back on the road the next day. They drive past the train full of business people,
That
all
I
in the same
remember.
fucking suit.
They're
Like,
all in the
but they're all dancing,
I
and they get the
remember
business
driving
people
past
dancing.
The train. I remember that. It's like a little more of the travel montage.
Chi-Chi reading romance novels out loud.
Yes, when they're
Stop my nerves.
when they're on the dark road.
Yes.
That I remember.
And so this is where Chris Penn pulls them over. And they're like, oh, what in gay hell?
What in gay hell?
And they're like, why is she panicking? Well, because the first name on my license is Eugene.
This could be problematic. Like my identification that Eugene.
Yeah.
Eugene.
And so, I keep saying, I wanted to say sergeant through the whole thing, but it's Sheriff Dullard.
Yeah, here's the sheriff in these parts. So he comes up talking about you got a light out, and he's like, we're 3 young career gals from New York City. And he just straight up racism's like right in everybody's face.
Oh, yeah. White girls driving around with things that we're not going to say
my
out loud.
God, it was like,
And Noxeema's like, you speak honky, talk to me.
yes, talk to him.
Sergeant Dullard. He's like, no, it's Dullard.
It's a misprint.
Tells her to
He's
get
like,
out of the car.
You're pretty. You know.
Christ, you're tall.
Right? And then he attempts to sexually assault
Like,
her.
just straight up. Like, what, to get out of a taillight ticket? I'm
I
sorry. I
don't know,
wasn't about
like-
to go to jail. Like,
Because
why?
he's like, well, because, you know, Sheriff Dullard is used to being the sheriff in
I
these
guess.
parts, and they're from New York. Like, what are they going to do, girls?
So, yeah, he has the other girl stay in the car and takes Vida back to his car and is like, oh, don't worry about your license.
Right. He's like, you know what girls like you want, career girls like you want? Like, yeah, careers.
A career? Same
No.
thing everybody wants.
Ugh.
And he tries to rape her and he gets a handful.
Yes, get your hand,
Hand
off my dick, buddy.
And what did you say? That he put a corn
Put a
cob
corn cob in his panties.
to make sure that he got a handful?
And that reaction, I guess, was real. So, you know.
And he just like, I watched this part twice to make sure. All he did was shove him away,
Yeah,
right?
like he was just so
Just
in
shoved
shock
him.
that he like went unconscious for half a
For a
day.
long time.
12 hours, he was brain dead in the fucking ditch.
He
was brain dead
definitely got brain
beforehand.
damage. I mean, we can tell that's not really in question. You'll find out.
He like questions his whole motherfucking life
Yes, he does.
after that.
And so, yeah, they think he's dead.
Did you the part though when they're sitting in the car before all this happened and fucking Chi-Chi's like, I think you might be prejudicing.
And
No, she's like, I bet you were the brightest in your class, weren't you?
yes.
That was just funny. But yeah,
And Chi-Chi goes to check if he's dead, and she's like,
I think this was the
he
said.
And so they
It's like,
take
should
off.
we blow? Should we blow? Like, oh my God, a dead white policeman.
Like, yes, we should blow.
Blow. So off they go, like in silence.
But Chi-Chi dropped a heeled shoe out in
Somebody
the dirt.
did.
It was I watched it
Chi-Chi?
twice because
was
I was like, whose
Chi-Chi?
shoe was it? And it
Of
was as they were
course.
scrambling her into the car, you could
Of
see it fall off of her
course.
foot.
So they pull off into a rest stop because they got to change
Changed her clothes.
and refresh.
And now the car won't start.
Of course not.
And Noxeema, of course, brings up, I could be on an airplane right now.
Transcontinental flight enjoying my little package of peanuts, but no. And here comes Chi-Chi. Did I ask to come on this trip?
No, she's right.
I don't
She did
think
not.
so.
And now
Did
I'm
I
going to go to
ask-
jail for some cop killing.
No, I don't think so.
She's like, I'm just going to take a bus back to New York the
I'm
next
jumping
chance
on
I
the
get.
next man and riding him all the way back to New York City because this trip sucks.
And Vita's like, you would leave us so quickly after
Like
all we've done
that-
for you.
Like, well, you are getting stripped of your princess points.
Oh,
That's some voodoo.
we took pity on this poor Latin boy in drag. And Noxie disagrees. She's like,
You know what? We didn't do anything. Like, you're the one that's always in here doing all
getting
this
in
shit.
people's
Like,
business,
I
doing
could've-
all this stuff,
Yeah.
whatever. And Vita's like, oh, you left me to be molested by the sheriff. Ain't nobody come out trying to help me.
What was she? She jumped out of the car as soon as she called for her.
Mm-hmm. So Vida asks Wong Foo for help. And Chi-Chi runs out to hitchhike for her get her points back.
Because I got more legs than a bucket of chicken. Like maybe if somebody gave me back my princess points, I can go do that hitchhiking thing.
So
she's going to get kidnapped by a mountain man.
And we're going to have to go rescue her.
But luckily, instead, she's picked up by Jason London, where was he? In
Just
the middle
on the
of
road
the night.
on his way back to...
From where?
I don't know.
To do
Farm
what?
business. I know he wasn't like a farmer, though.
No, he's a child. Isn't he young
I don't think it was a
too?
child. Well, he had to be late teens maybe or something. I don't
17, 18?
know. Something like that.
Something like
Something
that.
like
I don't know.
And so he picks her up and he takes her back to her friends, picks
Right.
them up.
Get inside, perras. I got us a ride to Spidersville.
Snydersville.
Whatever. So they all get in. They go into Snydersville. They go up to Virgil's, who's the mechanic. And
He just yells for him from the street.
Well,
Virgil?
you in?
Carol
and it's
Ann's
Ca-
like, are you in, Virgil?
No.
Yeah, he's in.
Yeah. And I'm surprised given what happens later.
That she volunteered him for that. So that's why she got that shiner, I bet. Because she
Oh,
didn't have
maybe.
that until the next day, I think.
Maybe.
And I bet that was why.
Maybe.
Is that she invited these people
might be
in
right.
and
Might be right.
offered his services.
Right. And because they got to stay in the house also.
He was busy eating fucking bland stew inside. He didn't want to come out.
with his sad no spice life, not even a
That is so
savory, not even an
sad.
herbs de Provence.
No. Not even a dill weed.
No dill weed. He's a dill weed.
He is.
Total dill weed at best.
So Virgil is like, he doesn't give a fuck about this broken Cadillac, but Carol Ann is intrigued by these statuesque beauties.
These career gals from New York City. So she takes him into the room. Y'all wanted to be in the same room.
So
No
here you
overhead
go.
lights.
No,
please.
no.
Please.
And they're kind of rude about it. Like,
I know.
do you have an inhabitable room?
This is the presidential suite, bitch.
Must have been one of them bad presidents.
I mean,
So Noxeema thinks that the last black person to stay there was Sam Cooke. And Chi-Chi in her ruffle butt panties and
Oh, I
slippers
know.
reading out loud.
I feel like that was different, maybe.
Oh, that part
That was
didn't
like
happen,
an added
maybe?
little sliver.
Because then it's just you see Virgil outside the window towing the car
towing
in.
the car in, and like Noxie's laid across the bed. Everyone's in their drag jammies.
Right? That's what I'm saying. So like up
Well-
to a point I can understand traveling in drag, but in 1995 through a part of the country where you think it's going to be a problem, not only are you, I mean, you have to stay in the drag now because if somebody comes to your
Well,
door,
yes,
but
now.
like you have drag jammies.
But I mean, if you're like, I don't know. Well, I will mention, and I mean a small point, but in the pageant early on in the very beginning, you will note that tucking
was not a thing. I did not notice.
Miss Cappuccino Commotion was having
a commotion, causing a commotion,
a golden commotion.
Oh my! I
could
did not
see it.
notice.
Well, I mean, like, fine, great, whatever. Like, I don't care.
Oh yeah,
But maybe was part
there
of
are
it.
different
that
eras
there
and
was
schools
like it
of
was
drag.
a different era and a different school of drag. I mean, they were traveling just for fun, just for the look, just for the fantasy.
But
just
getting
for
in
the-
drag is so much harder than just being
well,
a lady.
just traveling like that.
That's
in
what I'm
like a
saying.
pantsuit and a
Yes.
heel. I mean, like you want to match the car. If I was traveling
Yeah,
anywhere in a
there's
car
that
like
too.
that, but
I know. I go back and forth.
I know.
Like it didn't totally fuck up the movie where I was sitting there thinking that the whole time,
No,
but there
no,
were
no.
certain moments where I went like laying around in her ruffle butt panties with her little
Right,
bunny
right.
slippers where I was like, really? You even when you're just like getting ready for bed, you've got the
Well,
wig
with the
on
wig,
and
like,
everything?
that's the only thing. Like
Yeah.
the wig and the makeup, and you're still wearing lashes.
Yes.
Like
to go
I
to
get
bed.
the ruffle butt undies. I get the little kitty slippers.
But yeah, not the
little
full
crop
makeup
top,
and wig.
but like the face and the wig. I mean, I guess like Dolly Parton, in case there's an emergency, or
Right, you don't
anything
know. There could
happens,
be a
like You
fire.
gotta run out in the night. There could be a fire. You sleep in your makeup just
Yeah.
in case, and wash it off in the morning. Ruin
But
your
I feel like all
pillowcases.
three of these dudes are shit kickers, though. Like I feel like so what if somebody sees that it's like I'm a
I
dude? It's like
know.
I'm fucking Roadhouse Patrick
Like,
Swayze,
I will
bitch. I'm
roundhouse
Wesley
you in the
goddamn
fucking
Snipes.
face.
Exactly.
I
Like,
will
do you see
pass
the
it your
guns?
57 your shit.
Do you see the guns?
I will blade your ass, bitch.
Go ahead and ask me. Go
Right?
ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You
I'm
got
about to show you my
questions?
fucking 8-inch cock. I mean, like, just
Blah,
whoa.
blah.
Yeah.
I feel like the threat of physical violence is enough.
Right. They're all whoa, whoa,
We
whoa,
don't
whoa.
have to
No,
pull
no,
out
no.
anybody's cock.
We don't need to do that. We don't
Nobody
need to
needs to do that.
Okay, so before we get to the next morning, now is a good time for a break.
I think you're right.
We'll be right back.
Let's do it.
Hey, we're back.
We're back and it's the morning and everyone is like out there waiting to see.
And like Vida and Chi-Chi are in their like church dresses.
Right.
That's what
With the hat. Well, she said like it's a make a statement hat day.
Yeah, she did.
You know, she decreed it. Say something hat day was what she said.
And the whole town is gathered around their car waiting to see these girls that they've
Right.
heard about already.
Why do I feel like I'm in the Tournament of Roses parade? Because you're as big as a float? Your mother. Thank you.
So Virgil tells them that it'll only take 5 minutes for him to fix the car when he
I
gets
get
the part.
I don't keep vintage Cadillac parts on hand in Spidersville.
He could have it by Monday. And they're like,
Monday?
it's Saturday.
Oh, it's Saturday morning now. What are we supposed to do?
You're just going to have to wait. And Virgil takes Carol Ann aside. Or maybe this was when? Because
Well,
she
she
still
jumps
didn't
in,
have the
like-
black eye, did she?
Not yet. Probably now because
yeah,
she
for
jumps
this.
in like because they're over there hollering at Virgil. She's like, well, maybe he could like call his guy, and he's like, shut
Let me
up,
talk to
bitch.
you.
Hold on, let me talk to you.
So the ladies are over there talking when the town teenagers,
Here come the boys out
Come
here
to gawk.
gawking.
what are you going to do about it?
Right?
Noxie comes at him like she's going to do something. She's like,
Well,
nothing.
she doesn't yet. So Vida was like, we're going to make the most of it. So she talks about I'm Vida Boheme of the Manhattan Bohemes. We're going to be in your Hamlet. Is there any historical points of interest that we should not miss?
And what's her name? Beatrice
Oh,
is
she's
like,
like,
oh, there's
she can't
nothing
hear
interesting.
you. She's just kind of, you
Yeah.
know, like,
And what's Clara from? She's from something else.
oh God, she is from Alice Drummond.
Yeah. That
We
name
don't
was
have
so
a research
familiar. No research
tonight. I
assistant.
know. I'm gonna have to continue, and I'm gonna look up Alice Drummond.
So yeah, so they're telling her there's nothing of interest for ladies from New York
No,
City,
you're
but they
from-
will try to be accommodating.
Yes.
So they go back to their rooms to make the place tolerable.
God. I looked up Alive on accident.
Oh,
and I went
no.
to type Alice, and it came up with Alive, and I was like, oh no, not that.
Wrong thing. You want to hear us talk about that?
Yeah,
we'll probably
that's
get to it on a
something
spicy
else.
B-roll.
That's on something else. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Oh shit!
Lois Einhorn's mom.
Oh my lord!
That's who that is.
Okay.
That's what we're thinking of. She was in Ghostbusters. She's the fucking librarian.
Yes, yeah, that's
that
it.
too.
That's
that
it.
too. That too.
So it's
Tales from the Dark Side. Oh, she's the fucking sister.
Oh, she's the cat
Yes,
in the
the
cat
cat
story
sister,
from Tales
bitch.
from the
We
Dark
know that.
Side.
We know
Alice
her.
Drummond.
We know. Come on now. We know Alice Drummond.
So since they're stuck there, they go back to their room and have Operation Decorator Storm.
Yes.
And the townsfolk are just gawking through the window while they do this.
Well, because they see them throw all of this drapery. They do the fucking.
They do
I Dream
magic.
of Genie shit and do the little hand cross and the nod.
Like a little
throw
wink
it.
to make the light turn on.
Yes,
and
they wiggle their noses.
Yes. And someone finally finds Sheriff Dullard dead in the road. Only
Yes, he did not die.
he did not.
Sheriff Dullard, who did not die.
He passed out all night from being shoved and the shock of touching a cock. It exploded his brain.
Changed his whole life. He goes on a crusade.
And they wake him up and he's like, I was attacked.
Yes, but they were not girls. They were boys.
So now back to the town. Loretta is angrily walking through town.
Well, her daddy called her little ugly. Beatrice is over there like
Beatrice spilling the tea.
Like it has been like a couple hours or a day. It's been
Overnight.
A night. It's
Overnight.
been overnight. So this is the first conversation.
Beatrice can't wait to
Beatrice
give
is
the
out there.
juice goose.
Ooh.
She's got
Ooh.
it. She's an alcoholic because her mom used to call her baby ugly.
Mhm. They talk about Clara. She can't hear nothing. Your stockings are falling.
And some other lady who hasn't had sex with her husband for years.
And like they notice, or Noxeema notices that Clara drops a picture. So
Yeah.
she goes and follows her. She's like, girl, did you just do a Yui?
And she did. She's all scooting away, and she like just turns around in the road
I'm
and
gonna
passes
get
her.
you. She follows her all
That
the way
part's
home.
adorable.
I know.
And then Sheriff Dollard's being asked about what happened, and they're like, "Let's get this straight. You got beat up by a girl."
They weren't girls.
They were boys, and there were 3 of them, and one of them was black.
Oh, come on.
And Exhibit A is this shoe.
Right. I got to find out who wears this shoe.
And he's all pissed. They're laughing at him. I was attacked by perverts. Okay, Mrs. Dullard.
I mean.
And then he's like, I'm going to come back with 3 corpses.
I know. He
Sir.
openly is like, I am going to find these people and
commit
them
a triple murder.
in Nebraska.
Because they're
that's
laughing
where
at
they
me.
are. And because he's questioning his whole fucking life.
Wait, they were supposed to be in Nebraska?
That's
and
where
he,
this-
And he put a corn cob in his pants?
Oh.
Was that also a nod to Nebraska?
Did he just
was he like
find it?
Right? It was just around.
It was just there. I never even thought of that.
I didn't realize they
there
were in
was
Nebraska.
a couple things
so.
I never even thought about. One of which you brought to my attention all this years later.
Oh, which we'll get to at the end.
Yes, at the very end.
So Chi-Chi's walking down through the town alone.
And you in danger, girl. Like she's gonna get assaulted.
She does not care.
Murdered. Which is another thing I might bring up later. I'm going to. But
Yeah.
like they're gonna do something to her.
And that lead young redneck is behind her. And she at
Yes.
first is like flirting. And then
Right.
another one cuts her off
I
in front
didn't
of
know
her.
this is gonna be a party.
And she starts to try to run, but then another one pop out and another one
Yes.
pop out.
It's scary.
They back her up against some trees, and she's like trying to make conversation, change the subject. And
Right.
Bobby Ray squeals up in his pickup.
That's how you pick up a
lady.
lady. And off they go. Like, oh my God.
That could have been
That would have
real
been bad.
Real bad.
They would have killed her.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
They would have killed her.
Uh-huh. So Vita's asking Carol Ann for towels, and she finds her in the kitchen crying.
Right. And she's like, oh.
And this is where she's got a mark where she's like, oh, that's going to be a shiner. We need
Right.
to get a
Because she
steak
talks
on
about
that.
like, oh, I'm chopping up onions. She's like, I'm pretty observant and I didn't see any chopped onions because she sees the situation. Like Virgil likes it his way. She tries to season
Oh, because Vida tastes the stew and adds spice while...
paprika.
Was that all it was?
Paprika.
Which, do you don't put paprika in stew, do you? I mean, I guess
don't
you
know.
can,
I mean, I
but
guess you
it's not
could.
spice.
I mean, it's just bell pepper.
Yeah, it's
That's
not
what paprika
spicy.
is. No. Well, did you see Virgil? Did you see
did.
Virgil?
So yeah, she runs to stop her, but she's not in time, and she's like scooping it out with a spoon.
It's too
Virgil
spicy.
doesn't like it. He doesn't like it that way.
Virgil does like his way, doesn't he?
Oh, you're very observant.
Yeah, and I
And that's
noticed
when
there
she's
wasn't any
like-
chopped onions either.
And she's like, I think you should just leave it alone.
Right. And she's like, well, I thought that when my father, is this where she says
Yeah,
that?
I
Would
think
call
so.
me
About
cruel names.
call me. Yeah, it was just
It
his
was
sense
just
of
his
humor.
sense of humor.
So she tells
She's
her where
already
to
onto
find the
her.
towels. Yeah, and she takes off.
Right. So now Noxie's over there sitting with Clara.
Yeah, she's finally caught up with Miss Clara, looking at pictures of old
Ooh,
Hollywood
she's got some
stars.
stuff in here.
Mm-hmm. And she returns her picture to her and takes a peek in there. Miss Thing got some stuff in here.
And she has a seat.
And just starts talking to her.
Right. She's just telling her whatever. And then we go to Chi-Chi's out there with Bobby Ray. They're hanging out and he takes her to some old billboard.
Where he's already tagged love that Chi-Chi over a love that Coke sign, which like you met her 12 hours
Bobby
ago.
Ray. Bobby Ray.
Come on now.
I'm sure he's sheltered.
My knight in shining pickup truck.
I know.
So romantical. And now is that in something else? Because I say that and I've never seen this.
Romantical?
Romantical.
I don't know.
So I don't know if maybe I heard a clip of this or someone I
don't know.
knew said it because of this, but I say so romantical.
Because I don't know. I don't know if that's just from this. It seems like that's a broader
Yeah, I don't know.
lexicon situation.
And so he tells her if she was his girl, she would
Right.
never cry for anything except
maybe-
maybe happiness.
Oh, you.
So he takes her hand and they head off. And now Vita's picking flowers.
Right. And she gives them to Bobby Lee, who is the daughter of
Carol Ann and Virgil.
And she gives her the flowers like, these are for your mom. They grow in the dank and the dark.
With sweetness how they blossom. And so Bobby Lee likes her, and it's really on account of what you really are. Bobby Ray told me, and she's like, he did?
Yeah, like, and what are we? She's
A
like, well,
career girl.
Like, oh,
yeah. That's right. That's what we are. So she's telling her about, you can make good things happen for you too.
Right. Just think of good things and like make good things happen. Like, I could never be like you. Like, you could be anything you want.
And all she's thinking about is getting the boy she likes to like her back.
You should aim higher. And she's like, no,
let's
I'm
start with the boy.
that, and then I'll move on from there.
Back to Noxeema talking to Clara outside this. And so it's an abandoned theater called the Clara.
The Clara, yeah.
That's iconic. Like she
I know.
She had her own.
Well, that's why she wants to die there.
Because it never does say her story. It's clear she was connected with old Hollywood somehow.
Beatrice talks about how her husband and her had the movie house, and he left with some film distributor, some woman that breezed through town and brought.
Okay.
That was some of the
part
tea
of her,
that Beatrice was spilling.
I didn't realize.
So yeah, she was talking. But yeah, like with that sign, the light up sign, bitch.
We need the doom.
She should show those movies.
Yeah.
She should show those movies. Some pre-code shit. Some Conrad Viet. Theta Barra. Sarah Bernhard.
And Noxeema starts speaking in names. Noxeema starts going through. Is it Dorothy Dandridge films?
Dorothy Dandridge, who she talks about how her dream is to, because she's like, I could tell you because you're not going to tell anybody. My dream is to go to Hollywood and find a preeminent producer who is going to cast me in the story of Dorothy Dandridge, which, bitch, not on your young queer life.
No.
Have you seen Dorothy? Do you know what Dorothy Dandridge looks like? Okay.
I'm sorry, Noxeema.
I'm sorry, Wesley. No. Wesley Snipes did date Halle Berry, who did play Dorothy Dandridge.
There's a connection.
And also, she's one of the 4 ladies of Hollywood. You know that the Gateway Hollywood, Pasadena, the 4 silver ladies?
Oh, okay.
She's one of them. It's Mae West, Dorothy Dandridge, Anna Mae Wong, and Dolores Del Rio.
Okay.
That's who that is.
So she's sitting there talking to her, and she forgets a name, and suddenly Clara pipes up.
Right. She speaks.
And with the name she forgot. And she's like, did you say something?
Tamago.
And she doesn't say anything else, so she just starts saying more movies, but she forgets another one. And she fills that one in. And she's like, when did you start talking?
You want to do Lena
Horne? All right. So they have something in common. They high five. And back to Virgil noticing the spices in his stew.
Are you kidding me?
You did this on purpose to make me mad.
Bitch.
She's like, I scooped him out.
That's an abuser. Some of them fell in and it.
And he does this sick shit that's want me to hit you and comes at her.
Comes at her
and he smiles.
This motherfucker,
sick
sadistic asshole.
And he tells her, take him out.
How?
Sir, spices are mixed into the, there's
It's
no
just
taking it out.
It's not even cayenne, you fucking bitch.
Oh my God. And then Sheriff Dollard's list of places to find homos.
Did you get it? Because I did.
I didn't.
Flower shops, ballet schools, flight attendant lounges, restaurants for brunch, which okay,
true,
and antique stores.
Possible. So we just get like quick little flashes back and forth of what the sheriff is up to while all of this is going on.
The trail while they're doing that. So down at the cafe, the ladies are planning the strawberry social.
And this is where the mom from A Christmas Story is now. Like I didn't notice her before, but now she's just sitting at the table.
We all make strawberry pies.
That's too much strawberry pie. Make different kinds of pies. I don't want 8 strawberry pies.
Well, if you all make it a little different,
I guess, but that's a lot of strawberries.
Well, it's once a year, bitch. Like, how hard is it?
And I can't do. We did that at my work for Christmas, where they had a dessert contest, and I'm like, I'm not eating 8 desserts.
Kind of a lot. Well, I mean, like, think about it. Who's making a pie? It's like, what, 4 or 5 pies?
Maybe.
It's not a big
If
town.
it was 4 or 5 pies, I guess I could
4 or
eat
5 pies, the
5
entire
strawberry
town.
pies.
I mean, you'd be left with a couple of slices, but I feel like, especially if your pie sucks.
Do you just make one? What was that laugh? I asked myself. What was that laugh? I don't know. I'm trying to recreate that as much as possible. I don't think I've ever laughed like that in my life.
That was new. that?
This is my new laugh for 2024.
New year, new laugh. I'm gonna cackle just the same though.
All right.
Oh fuck.
So they're asking about this festival that they
Right,
have
it
and
craves
whatever.
a theme. We need a theme. Like, what do you think of?
When you think of strawberries,
They're red.
They're wild.
Red and wild.
There
That's
we
your
go.
theme. There we go.
And so it's time to go to the beauty parlor.
Well, we're gonna have a day with the girls, and they're like, "What is that?"
They don't even know. They've never had
like,
a day
there's
with
a
the
couple,
girls.
Like, what is that? Like, I've never heard that term.
And
before.
the one girl, I forget her name, fills them in on.
Well, no, it's Miranda Dillon again, isn't it? That's like, no, you go do volunteer
Oh yes,
work,
yes.
and then you get your hair done, get a new outfit, and then you go to a cafe and talk. Like, okay, so now they go down to because she's the one that has the beauty parlor. That's
Yes,
the
so
whole thing.
she takes them down, and everybody gets
Right.
their hair and
Beauty
makeup
parlor
done.
montage, hair and makeup.
Meanwhile, Sheriff Dullard does not find homos in the flower shop or the
He
antique
does
store.
not, or the ballet school, or is that later?
I think that's right after this. So it's Ladies' Day, and the town boys are hollering at him.
Of course.
And Noxeema walks across the road. What is all this noise?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, baby, you're a whole lot of women. I know what you need.
Well, I hardly think you're the man to give it to me. Do you like my nails?
Grabs them balls up. That ballskin robin's all
Walk.
up in them nails.
Walk. So she takes Tommy over there and she says, when you encounter, this is Miss Vida.
Mm-hmm. And she
Miss
teaches
whoever,
him the correct way to greet
to
gorgeous
address
ladies.
Gorgeous ladies. You say good afternoon, unless it's the evening time, in which case you say good afternoon, ladies.
And she squeezes till he says it.
Right. So next time, bathe and comb your hair. Put on a clean shirt before you step outside of your door. It is an affront to my very nature.
And she gives him one more squeeze and then shoves him into the dirt
Miss Clara,
and escorts her away.
off they go. So now Dullard again, he's
Doesn't find them at the ballet class.
right. He still hasn't managed to match that slipper to Cinderella.
So the ladies head to, what is this, like the
It's like
general
the
store?
That's what I put,
Yeah.
the general. It's got to be a general store, right? So they're looking
It's
for
like
new
all
outfits.
denim. Nothing but denim.
No, everything we have is on the floor.
So yeah, this is the kid they were talking about earlier that has the
Right.
stutter.
Mhm, poor thing has a stutter.
And Noxeema heads upstairs and he's like, no, that's just stuff in storage. And she is fucking freaked.
Oh my God. Noxeema, speak to me.
And
It's from the 60s.
And she has found box upon box of 60s garments that are fucking.
The boy's grandmother
They
got
didn't
them,
sell.
and they never sent them back. So it is legit 60s.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for
vintage.
real vintage. So
So
they
she
come out
starts
glamorized.
Throwing it down, and she has that French skirt like in sparkle motions, like for me.
And she's like,
It's like,
no,
no, this is mine.
This is fringe."
fringe. And I mean, really, it was orange. It was totally for Noxeema.
Oh, yeah. The colors were right for her.
Absolutely.
So they come out. They all do their turn on the catwalk. We get
On the
everybody's
catwalk.
looks. And the
On
bullies
the
are out there.
Right. They're all out there looking around.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
He's learned his lesson quickly. He don't need his balls fucking squeezed
No,
again.
Not twice.
Or he do want them squeezed again.
Well, maybe he could ask for that specifically later on.
And Clara with her little hippie outfit. And
We're going to make you look like Miss Emma Peel.
and Carol Ann is watching from across the street from her window.
Oh, yes.
And
here-
just watching him have a good old time.
Here come Virgil.
Acting
Still
real
too
proud of yourself like a
spicy.
New York City girl, huh?
Oh, come on.
Food's still too spicy. And he throws it on the whole pot of stew.
Well, now you're not going to eat, motherfucker.
And that's her dinner. That's their daughter's dinner.
I
That ain't
know.
just his goddamn dinner.
Like he gives a shit about his daughters. Come on.
True.
Come on. Let's be real.
So they all go to Clara's house to look at her treasures.
And they're listening to records, which, funnily enough, it's Eartha Kitt.
Oh, is what they were
that
listening
they're
to?
listening to, yes. So now they want to dance on the porch and have a nice, lovely little time.
Mm-hmm.
And the little boy, what's the little boy that stutters? I didn't get his name.
I didn't get his name either. I just
Well,
put store
anyway.
clerk.
He's reading the biography
book
of
that she gave
Diana
him.
Vreeland that he gave her. He's like, hats for career girls. How I adore Paris. Like, he's not stuttering.
No.
For some reason, this is what Miss Vida gave him as like, this helped me
Yes, because she felt bad for him because of the stutter, because he seems like a nice kid, and he got them all these 60s vintage outfits.
And they got him dressed up too. He got a
whole
new
his
outfit.
whole yellow outfit.
And he's like into this reading of Diana Vreeland's story. Wasn't that the thing that Raja did in Snatch Game, Diana Vreeland?
Oh, that sounds right. I think so.
With the I can't even do it now. That fucking she did that in Madame the Puppet.
Oh, yes.
Was that the two things she did? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, whatever. So
Vida is Bobby Lee, and they're eating together at the cafe. And Chi-Chi, who comes back all in love.
Right. She's got a secret romance.
And Bobby Lee's like, oh, I have a secret romance.
Right. And Vita's looking at her like, girl.
And she like kicks Chi-Chi under the table. So does Vida know they both are having...
I think so.
Because she should have said something to Chi-Chi.
Well, even if she would have... Whether or not she knows it's the same person, I feel like she would have done that regardless of what whoever she thinks that Chi-Chi's.
So maybe she doesn't know. It's just that
not
you're
necessarily
you're
that you're
stealing
out there
this girl's
messing around.
thunder, and you shouldn't be out there messing around in this small town.
It could be dangerous.
Yes. So Carol Ann is back at the house cleaning the stew off the floor and crying when Vida comes in.
She's like, honey, do you ever not cry in this room?
And before we get to the next part, it might already be time. Well, no, we can go a little bit more.
I think so.
Or no, because I said I have questions.
That's what you said. But
All
that's
right.
what you said.
All right, we'll be right back. So Bobby Ray.
Oh man, it's the evening time. Everybody is like luxuriating
The
on
ladies
the porch
are
in white.
all in white. They all coordinated,
the
and not just the
queens are
three
like-
ladies.
Oh yeah, like everybody's
Bobby
wearing
Lee's
white.
out there,
Well, they're having a mint julep and some iced tea
right?
on the veranda.
They're not even in the South, are they?
No, they're not. They're in Nebraska. That's not
That's
the
right.
South. Is
So-
it? No,
no.
it's not. I'm not good at geography.
So Bobby Ray comes up in his suit with flowers.
Oh, with flowers, and everybody's looking and.
They're all looking at Bobby
declare,
Lee's got
I
anticipation all over her face.
I decline.
And he wants to invite somebody out to the social. And he's like,
Yes.
Bobby Lee? And she's like, can you do me
take
the
these
favor
Ouch.
of taking these ladies inside so I can talk to Chi-Chi in private?
Ouch. Ouch.
And she storms off.
Why would he just say her to take these babies inside? That's not her responsibility.
Because
That
she's
was
the one he knows, I guess.
I know, but that was harsh.
Yeah.
That was a poor decision, Bobby Ray.
And Chi-Chi's like, come back in an hour.
Right. Just come back in an hour.
So Vida goes and tells her, look, this is out of the question.
Right. Like, I will not allow you to mess with this little boy. Like, he doesn't know.
He doesn't know. And she's like, we got a lot in common. And Noxie's like, oh, yeah, like the same equipment between your legs.
Yeah, she's doing that boing,
Yes.
boing, boing.
And then they start getting harsh.
Right. They like really start arguing. And she's like, Chi-Chi decides she's going to stay. She's like,
Yeah, I'm
what?
going to stay with Bobby Ray.
Come on.
And he's
going to
maybe
notice a
18,
thing or two.
19.
Right. He's like a child. And she's like, oh, you're just a gringa with a pinga.
Mm-hmm.
All up in everybody's business.
Telling all the black and Latin ladies what to do.
Right. And like, she can hear Carol Ann getting her ass kicked.
And she's like, we got to help her. And Noxeema's
No.
like, no.
There's times when you help people and times when you help people, you get killed.
So we're not going to do anything.
No, we're going to mind
Has
her own
nothing to
business.
do with us.
Nope.
But of course,
She's like, I can't take any more of this shit.
and when she goes to go out, her wig gets snatched by like something hanging
I wrote
from
that
the ceiling.
exactly thing. She fucking snatches her wig and then she's had it.
Yes.
So here comes Miss Vida. She comes stomping down the hallway. She kicks down
Yes,
the
she
fucking
does.
door.
Mm-hmm.
And like, poor Carol Ann's like, oh my God, stop. She's like, I can't, I'm sorry.
I can't do it.
I can't take this anymore. I can't stand hearing this shit. She takes her out. She has the girls
take her out, and she shuts
closes
herself
the
in the room
door.
with Virgil.
And it occurs to her that you like to hit ladies.
I gather you like hitting ladies.
And he talks about some ladies need to get hit. This motherfucker.
Some men need to be hit back.
Conversely, wise, and she
Bops him hard. She fucking
Well, first
wallows
she,
him.
like, bitch slaps him.
And then she
and then
fucking
she
gives him a good.
backhands him and
Yep.
knocks him to the fucking. But she knocks his dick in the dirt.
Carol Ann's all worried that
I
he's
know,
gonna
she's
get
like,
hurt,
oh my
and they're
God.
like, "Oh, she works out a
Something
lot."
you need to know about Vida. She works out a lot.
And yeah, my same note was she kicks his dick into the dirt and throws him out his own house.
Right? Like dusts her little hands off with her marabou fucking slides.
And now Sheriff Dullard stopping cars at a checkpoint looking for Vida with this terrible drawing.
And is that or is that not Wesley Snipes on the motorcycle?
Oh.
Did you notice that?
I saw that there was a guy on the motorcycle, but I didn't notice if it was Wesley Snipes.
And I feel like I saw that somewhere that it is indeed Wesley Snipes. I looked it up and I couldn't find nothing. But in the eyes, Dave was like, no, it doesn't look like Wesley Snipes. I'm like, yes, it does.
I don't know. I didn't catch it. I mean, I saw like that guy, but
I feel like it was like a thing.
So back to Carol Ann talking about sometimes I think we should just get rid of all the men.
Right.
And they're like, well, no, some of the men. She's like, no, all the men.
Not all of them. So they talk about the men that they would save.
She's like, maybe not Mr. Rogers. He could stay. He seems fine.
Yeah, he could stay.
And then they're like, what about Mel Gibson?
I mean, well, who was like flirting with the idea of being in this movie? Like, who would he have been? Vida Boheme? Could you imagine?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Especially, considering what's become of him.
Yes. And she's like, he can stay, but he's not allowed to think or speak.
He's not allowed to speak, which fair.
All right.
Fair.
All right.
That probably would have helped.
Uh-huh.
They saved Keanu, which, as they should.
Yes. So Bobby Ray comes back for Chi-Chi, who's waiting on the porch.
Yes.
And she's like ready to run away.
I know.
I always wanted someone to understand me inside and hold me always, and you are it. You make me feel like the most perfect girl.
You are the most perfect girl.
You're beautiful. You have class. You're exotic. Stop. Don't stop.
Right.
There's something about the way that you talk, like no nonsense. Like you'd never lie to me or keep a secret from me.
Not even one secret you could sit on?
Like just if you really love somebody, you could keep like one big secret.
Like,
yeah.
No.
And he's like, no.
You would not keep a secret from somebody that you love.
And so here's part of my question is what the fuck does she say to him at this point? Because when he finds out later they're men, he's surprised.
Right?
So she did not tell him here.
No, she didn't tell him.
That she has
just
dick.
Like, look, like this isn't gonna, she lets him down easy, I guess.
But, and then like in such a way that she just transitions him onto Bobby Lee. She just gives him away to Bobby Lee.
Right? Like,
how does that work?
Like, how is she going to make him be into... Well, because Bobby Lee does it herself, I guess.
She cleans up nice.
But with the help of some fairy godmothers.
And so Chi-Chi comes back into where the girls are chatting at the table and tells Bobby Lee, you know what? I don't want Bobby Ray. He's such a local. You just take him. He's yours.
You can have him, baby. Don't even worry about it. And that was step 3.
Yes, that you put somebody else's needs before your own.
Right. And so Vida apologizes and Chi-Chi apologizes. Everybody is forgiven.
And but Chi-Chi seems hurt. Like she's telling her, no, it's no big deal. I have a
know,
million
but
dream
she's, like,
lovers, but she looks really sad about losing Bobby Ray.
What was she gonna do? What was she gonna do realistically? Just spring it on him at the
only
after
let him
the
go in
wedding?
from behind
Forever?
Come on. I don't know.
What was she gonna do?
I have no clue. So they give Bobby Lee a makeover and coach her how to get Bobby Ray.
Right, and they're watching what I'm like writing down as Cleopatra. I was like, oh, it's not even like the Elizabeth Taylor Cleopatra, or the Claudette Colbert Cleopatra, or the Vivian Leigh Cleopatra, because it's not fucking Cleopatra. It's Anne Baxter in 10 Commandments. And I was like, who the fuck is she? She looks really familiar. Anne Baxter from All About Eve. She's Eve. You don't know any.
You said I wasn't going to know, and then you looked at my face and you just got
know.
sad. You're like, my best friend has no idea what I'm talking about.
Although, I really think that you would like All About Eve.
Okay.
With her and Betty Davis, and she's like an aging star, and then the other, it's very Showgirls.
Okay.
It's really very, like, everyone's super cunty.
I'd be willing to watch it.
It's good. It's really good. I would suggest it.
Okay. So Bobby Ray, they get her all dressed up, and Bobby Lee approaches from behind.
Right, like she's standing there.
He doesn't even see her from the front when he's like, "Oh, that's a pretty dress you're wearing."
He's like, Chi-Chi, is that you? Does that look like fucking Chi-Chi?
Sure is a pretty dress you're wearing. Oh, this old thing.
I know.
And he asks her to dance outside of the social tent.
Oh, Oh, Bobby Ray, Bobby Ray, Bobby Ray.
So they start dancing, and then the cafe guy that Beatrice crushes on finally
Jimmy
asks her to
Joe.
dance.
Hold me.
The
Hold me.
The young redneck bully asks Loretta to dance.
Loretta.
There's no other young women, I guess, in the town.
Well,
so.
whatever. It's just they just dancing.
And the queens don't go to this part of the social. They
No,
watch from the
they're up on the
balcony and
balcony
dance.
and do that.
They're like the Little Shop of Horrors girls.
Yes.
Over there just dancing.
Also, I also saw a thing which I didn't even notice, even though I had read it, that they're dressed as the three fairies from, or not dressed as, but like color coordinated for the three fairies from.
Oh, are they?
Because that's what she says. Like
sometimes
it just takes a fairy, and they do the
yes, and they do the
whatever,
little
the
dance.
arm thing, and like I said, I read that and I still didn't even realize it. But anyhow.
So back to the sheriff at some bar talking about men acting like women,
He's
touching
having
each
a
other,
crisis.
stubbly chins rubbing against one another, manly hands
having a
touching swirls of
soliloquy
chest hair,
About this.
and the occasional whiff of rugged aftershave, low baritone voices sighing, grunting,
He wants it.
being held in manly masculine arms. He does.
I know. He's
Tight.
like he has turned his whole life, and he doesn't know what to do with it. And and eventually, well, not yet. So in the morning already,
So he got all wasted at the bar, and then Virgil shows up.
he shows up later on, and like, did they get a room for the night
Right.
and rub their stubble together?
Did they?
Because they show up in the morning, but like, when does the bar close? There has to be like, there's dry counties out there.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
Like, when did that bar close? Where did they go? It was daylight when they showed up again in separate cars.
And the sheriff tells Virgil he's looking for the person who wears that shoe, and then fade to black.
Oh, really?
Next morning, Carol Ann's working on their car with Vida.
Yep, she fixes the car.
Gets it fixed up.
Off she's like, oh, God, we can leave. She's like, well, I'm sure you want to stay for the social.
And she's talking about how important it is to have lady friends.
And Vita's like, look,
I
I gotta
tell
tell
you
you
something.
something. She's like, Adam's apple?
Adam's apple. Women's don't have Adam's apple.
And all I know is that I'm fortunate to have a lady friend that happens to have an Adam's apple.
Which is exactly how you should feel about that.
Right? Whoever they are, whoever they tell you they are, believe them.
There you go.
Believe them.
So it gets the car started, and the sheriff heads into town with
Here
renewed
comes-
purpose.
Yep, he believes it now. He shows up before the social. It's like high
They're
noon.
all set up for the Strawberry Festival. Chi-Chi looking like Miami Sound Machine exploded all over her.
Ah,
And the sheriff's calling out on his megaphone. He's looking for the drag queens.
the perverts.
Come out with your hands up and no one gets hurt.
Right?
And they're like, oh, that is possibly the dead Sheriff Dullard.
the not dead Sheriff Dullard.
I want the drag queens. Don't protect these freaks.
Yeah, you good people are fine. And out from the screen door comes
Well, and
this,
so he mentions boys in dresses, and then you see Bobby Ray's face.
like,
That's where I was like, so she didn't tell him she's a man.
well, I mean,
So, yeah.
like I said, she just let him down easy.
So he
She didn't,
finds out like that.
she didn't crying game him.
No. So Vida heads out, but there's a woman in a red veil.
Yes, the fucking Lydia Dietz fantasy steps out of the house. And Bobby Lee, really? You think that's Miss Vida? Stockard Channing is half the size.
Seriously,
of
she's
Patrick
much smaller.
Swayze.
And then Virgil comes driving up, so they didn't come right
That's
together
what I'm
because
saying.
he
in
gets there
separate
then.
cars. He slept in. He came in a little late, came a little hot.
And the red veil reveals that it's Carol Ann, and she says it's my shoe.
Carol Ann.
And Virgil's like, no, it's not her shoe. She's like, back off, Virgil.
Right?
I am a drag queen.
Right?
And all of a sudden, all the townsfolk walk
We're
up.
all drag queen. Nothing this good
my
could be
shoe.
real.
It's my shoe.
Snaps.
And now, does the sheriff have his speed laser under his arm right
I
now?
don't
Because
know what
he
the
had
fuck
some
he was
kind
doing.
of red
I
thing
thought
under
he
his
had a
arm.
shotgun,
Oh, no, the
but-
megaphone. It was his
that's what
megaphone.
it was.
Okay.
That's what it was. For sure.
So yeah, they all cheer. Carol Ann walks up to Virgil
She
and
tells him to fuck off with her eyes.
and like he just leaves.
Leaves?
No,
I know.
There's no way.
He came back and killed them in the night.
No, he went and committed some crimes and went to jail, and he helped Mickey and Mallory Knox escape prison.
That's right. Because I had forgotten until I was writing down the cast list. Because he had a goatee. He's like evil. He's even worse then.
He knew by the look in her eyes that the free ride was over.
Right? Like, was she paying for this shit? What's going to happen now?
It's like her family fucking garage money or whatever.
Who's going to kick her out of this town? No one's moving in.
Right. So back at the girls' room, they looks like they're gone, but Chi-Chi is on the back of the door. Vita's under a lampshade and Noxie's under the bed.
Wig under the bed. She lifts it up.
But they have heard all of this, the townspeople standing up for them, and they're like
oh,
floored.
Shit.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And Noxie tells Vita, you were right. You got to take chances because you never know.
And yeah, I'll make Hollywood whenever. And like Vida is going to go home and say, my name is Vida Boheme.
And your approval is not needed.
Not desired nor required.
But I will take your acceptance.
And me too. I'm going to find my dream lover.
Yes.
And maybe a foundation closer to my skin tone.
Thank you, Chi-Chi. That white.
Colorism is a thing.
She's going to goth night at Club Metro.
I know. Well, like if you wear something high enough, like the hunger.
Then it don't matter. You can have that pale face.
You could. Little shades and a wig and a tank top. No, not that.
So the sheriff's all mad, parked outside of town, telling some farmer who walked up, look at those perverts.
Right.
The founding fathers weren't talking about them when they were
mean them.
And the redneck's like, well, I can tell you one thing about the founding fathers.
They sure had fabulous wigs.
Oh, they sure did.
And they runway, they kiki, they party.
Carol Ann's up there. They get her up there. So now Beatrice gives Noxie this fabulous dress as a parting gift.
It was her aunt. She was real big in the shoulders.
And Vida leaves Bobby Lee with some good advice.
Yep. Believe in yourself, imagine good things, and moisturize, baby.
Clara tells Noxeema to give this letter to Robert Mitchum when she gets to Hollywood.
By then?
I don't know.
I'll have to look that up later.
And the gang of boys approaches and tells them good afternoon.
Right. And what's her name and the other what's her name come up like, via con Dios, Miss Chi-Chi.
And Myrna and Loretta kiss Chi-Chi goodbye. Yeah, give her
Myrna
flowers. And Carol Ann tells Vida goodbye.
Right.
And Vida wants her to come with them.
She's like, no, this is my home, and I got these girls to raise.
So they hug.
She says, I love you, Miss Vida Boheme.
And she says, I've waited to hear my whole life to hear those words said to that name. And I'm very happy that you're the one to say it.
So she gives her Julie Newmar. It seems right. So
yes.
She takes it out of the car and gives it to her. She's like, oh, Julie Newmar. I always thought she was so statuesque.
Oh my God. Did we just become best friends?
Yes. So she's like, I don't think of you as a man. Like they all walk off and then she hollers.
Yes.
Vida, I don't think of you as a man.
I don't think of you as a woman.
I think of you as an angel.
She goes, I think that's healthy.
That was weird.
I don't know.
That was a weird send-off.
It was.
So off they go to the pageant in Hollywood where Chi-Chi wins and is crowned by Julie Newmar. And you brought up
that. And so I was like, is this a dream? Was she having a dream in the backseat on the way? Because she can't win a contest she's not a contestant in.
And I never thought of that there, of course,
because she wasn't a finalist. She just was dragged
They
along.
just took her with them. I know.
And that was the first thing that hit me was she can't win the competition in Hollywood.
Never did I ever think about it. Which made me think, in theory, that the first time that they got pulled over by Sheriff Dullard, he killed him.
This is all a dream.
All of this is
their
murdered
afterlife.
in a ditch dream.
Oh no.
Isn't that dark? That's horrible.
That is dark.
But I mean, that's what he would have done. Fucking middle of nowhere, Nebraska cop, 3 drag queens. He was openly racist into their car.
Yup.
He attempted sexual assault.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whatever. So it could have been, but I never once thought that like, of course she would have won. That's her arc. But no, she
can't possibly have won.
She was not included in that competition.
No.
So how could she have won?
So unless they found some other smaller competition for her to compete in on the way that would make her eligible to participate in the
Right,
Hollywood
'cause
one.
from Nebraska to California.
Like what, in
still.
Oregon or something they found
I mean,
a fucking...
I don't know where you go from
I
where
don't
to
know.
where.
You
In
guys,
New
if
Mexico,
it's not clear, we
in
don't know
Nevada,
geography.
in Las Vegas.
So I guess
Perhaps?
this movie didn't doom me, but I was doomed from not seeing it to not know all of this amazing...
I mean, it's a great movie. It's
All these
it's a really
one-liners.
good movie.
And
I
yeah,
have
and like I
always loved
said,
this movie.
all these guys did such a good job.
Yes.
I definitely was on the verge of tears at certain points.
Well, it doesn't do that to me anymore, but yeah.
But like when you first, just like the friendship with Carol Ann, that kind of stuff.
Yes,
like,
of course, like I get it.
But it was good. I really enjoyed it. I'll definitely watch it again when I don't have to sit and take notes and can actually pay attention.
You know what? That's
fully.
exactly what I did after I finished watching it and taking notes while I was getting ready.
You put it on again.
I just put it on again because it was in the background because I've seen it 100 times.
So because it's a new year, we've got some stuff saved up. We got some yearbook signings. We'll see how many we can get through right now. We have got an email from Leo Allen about The Exorcist. It says, "Hey Doomers, loved the review. This still remains as my favorite horror film of all time. When I covered this on my show, Voluntary Input, I realized for years I had misremembered when I first saw it. I had long said I saw this as a kid when it came out, but when this was released, I would have been 5. Although my parents were pretty liberal about what we were allowed to watch, they weren't animals, but I did see it at about 9 or 10, which was still way too young, but oh well. Love that you touched on the continuity of the film. That was kind of a thing in most films of the 70s, though. You kind of just had to get it when it came to timelines with a lot of films. This film doomed me to behave as a kid. My siblings and I would say dumb stuff like, you better be good or the Exorcist is going to get you. Stay cool, ladies. Later, Doomers."
That's cool.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you, Leo.
Oh, and then, okay, let me get my phone. We have a text message in the
Oh.
Google Voice.
It's a voice message?
Well, no.
Oh,
We
no.
have, I think we have one of those too, but this one that I have on my list is a text.
I always like the voice messages because it's so real.
Okay, let's see. So we have, "Happy New Year to y'all foos. I can't wait to see what movies y'all do next. The best is Steel Magnolias with the hysterical accents." And I told him back, "Happy New Year. Thank you for the message. Do you want us to read this on an episode? And who should I say it's from?" And he said, "Hell yeah, Tom the People's Champ. I follow you all on IG and I'm People's Champ 1843. Y'all are the best. When are you going to do some Doom Generation videos?" And so I told him, the first one will be on January 27th, last Saturday of every month at 7 p.m. Pacific.
We're going to keep hyping it up, so now we have to do it.
So thank you, Tom, the People's Champ.
That's funny. Is that the person that called us foos before?
No, this is a new person,
This
I'm
is a
pretty
new
sure.
person?
Yeah.
All right.
And then we do have a voicemail. Hold on. Where?
Because you make me feel
I'm
mighty
in the text
real.
messages, not the voicemails. Here we go. All right, I think this one's a little bit long. This one's almost 2 minutes long. But again, this is about The Exorcist, so it goes with the theme of the yearbook signings. Oh, there we go. Okay, here we go. Let me put it on speaker.
Hey, Miss Doomers. Okay, so my story starts back in 73 after my dad got home from the Exorcist on acid. He realizes he needs to take the dog out, a little chihuahua, out for a walk, and he's thinking, oh my God, that was based on a real story. Oh my God. And he's juggling the flashlight, and he's holding the dog in his arm, and he gets to the door to open it up, and he goes, ah! Because he has the flashlight under his chin, and it's reflecting his face, and he sees a face like the demon. Anyway, so then on the extended director's cut, I'm watching it with my dad. We're getting high, doing bong hits, sitting there, and then I hear the demon go, "Why you do this to me, Demi?" And it pierces my ear holes because that's what my mother has been saying randomly for no goddamn reason. My entire life I've been hearing her say this. And she doesn't even like movies. The other day, she was trying to describe this movie to me, and she goes, well, it's got 3 old guys and a bald guy. I'm like, you're going to have to give me way more information than that. Okay, thanks.
So that one cut off so abruptly that I texted the number back and was like, you didn't say who you are. Do you want me to say? And it's Drew from Halloween Town.
Oh, okay.
So if you guys don't follow us on Instagram, which you
I
should,
look
Doom
forward to
Generation
that.
Pod. If
I
you
look
don't, if
forward
you
to
have
that.
Instagram, you better be following us at Doom Generation Pod, because one of the things we get is Drew at Halloween Town.
Oh, man.
So he posts memes and like it's basically a shit posting account. It's just funny stuff all day. But he found our show somehow. I think I probably I found him and started sharing his memes because some of them were movie related.
Maybe.
I don't know.
No. Was that the one that took the Sigourney Weaver tops?
No, that's Spade.
Oh.
And so
I didn't mean to do that.
And so Drew started doing this thing where, with no prompt from us, he makes these weekly recaps of each episode where he does like a graphic for Instagram stories, and he listens multiple times.
I look forward to it every week.
And they are so funny. And sometimes we're old. I got to zoom in. I got to screenshot it and zoom in sometimes because there's a lot of stuff in it. But I think I save them. If you go to our Instagram, you can see the past ones in the little highlights reels. I think I put it under, it's like listener posts or something like that. It says, and I've been trying to save, all of as often as I remember, which I think is more often than not. I've been saving those there, so you can find those there.
I think I forgot to mention when we did that, and once we had gotten this message, I remembered that my uncle would have me say that too. That Demi, why you? When I was like a little kid before I had seen it,
Oh,
and I would run around saying, like, Demi, why you do this to me? Demi, why?
That's so
all
funny.
the time, like before I had seen it, but also me too. I was also like way too young when I had read it and seen it. So yeah, we share that, me and you.
So yearbook signings, if you guys want an email read out, a voicemail played, a text message read, doomgenerationpodcast@gmail.com, 702-720-DOOM.
366.
You can text that number, 702-720-3666. Send us a text message. I wanted to mention that the 7-day free trial on Patreon.
Oh, yes.
If you guys, we just put out a new spicy B-roll for the new year that is pretty fucking funny if we do say so ourselves.
You know, I like everybody knows that I don't laugh at anything like I laugh at us. But it's pretty funny.
It was pretty funny. It's short, it's sweet, but we got more stuff like that coming your way. We just recorded The Hunger.
Oh, man, that was good, too.
As our first live commentary watch. And I got to say, dude, we scrolled through, and at least a dozen times we were laughing out loud. Like, at ourselves. Shut up. It's good. You should pay $2.
I can admit it.
You could pay $2.
I can admit it.
Patreon.com/Doom Generation.
Yes.
So yeah, get on that. The Hunger will be out later this month. We got the B-roll posted. Oh, the video lives. Yeah, again. Follow us on YouTube.
End of the month.
We will be going live and doing a monthly recap. So if after you listen to this episode, if you were like, oh, those parts that they're talking about, I remember, blah, 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 and you send us a message, maybe if it's interesting, at the end of the monthly recap, we will maybe address things we forgot, corrections.
We want that. Give it to us, please.
You can talk to us on live chat. So we're hoping this will be the first time, so we'll see how it goes, but we're hoping to be able to read your messages while we're doing the live and reply to you live in the chat.
Yes, that is the plan.
And you can ask us whatever. I mean, we reserve the right to not answer if it's inappropriate.
Well,
but if you ask us legitimate stuff about the show or movies or whatever, we will be there for, however long people are watching, probably.
Right. You know,
and we'll wrap up the
hour,
month.
45 minutes.
Talk about preview for the next month.
Yep.
We'll be in our super cool studio area, which again, if you're not following on social media, you're missing the photos of our super rad spot, you guys.
It's so cool.
And if you haven't liked, reviewed, rated this podcast, I haven't mentioned it in probably 6 months.
I know. It's a new year, bitch. You got to do it.
Go to Apple. If you listen on Apple, please give us that 5 stars. Give us that review. You listen on Spotify, give us that 5 stars. You listen on Good Pods, give us that 5 stars.
All the stars.
If you listen on Good Pods, you can give us specific comments on specific episodes. It'll let you comment as you listen to
In
the
the
episode on
moment.
something specific. So that's a good option too. So wherever you listen, if there's a way to rate us, review us, please do. Send us messages. And until next week,
We'll talk at you next time.
later, Doomers.